What is up, y'all, and welcome back to another episode of the Talk of the Ring show. If you don't know, I am your host. My name is Harley, and we're going to chop right through this episode today because people got places to be, and that's okay. But today, our guest, his name is the Giant, or Robbie the Giant.
Robbie the Giant works.
There you go. Hello, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
That's good. I'm great. So, we'll just hop right in with who or what got you into wrestling.
So what got me into watching wrestling was WCW Monday Nitro. Guy that my mom was that was living with us at the time had a Sting versus Bret Hart match, and I fell in love with that. Fast forward, all the cruiserweights. There's a lot of smaller people. For those that don't know, I'm only 4'10", so Rey Mysterio stood out immediately. So Rey Mysterio Sting made me fall in love with wrestling. Rey Mysterio made me fall in love with wanting to be a wrestler. So we start off with that basically, and snowballed from there as far as like falling into loving wrestling.
No, definitely. And so is that like how the Giant thing kind of came in spot? Because obviously,
No, the Giant part wasn't even my idea. So back in 2006, September, August of 2006, me and my best friend, who isn't short, only him. We were always talking about how we wanted to be in wrestling. We wanted to go. We eventually wanted to go train somewhere that would accept us and make a difference. So we went to a local indie show that night for Eastern Pro Wrestling for Bob Evans. So me and Ian, with my best friend, they advertised a school. So when we met with Bob and talked about the school and somehow convinced our parents to sign a waiver for us to get beat up. When I started, Bob just started calling me the Giant. I think it was just to not make people call me by any short names and just have the Giant. So that's where that all just started from. Just knocking off in the ring, and my first show that I was put on, that was my wrestling name apparently. So it's been with me since before day one, basically.
okay. And so you said Bob Evans trained you, right? Was that like
Correct.
okay? And so how long would you say like you trained before you actually had like your first realistic match?
Before my realistic match was, I started in August. The end of April of the following year, I got there. So that's
Okay.
4, 5. So yeah, quite.
Oh, guys, I think we lost him. Anyways, I'm telling you guys, it happens every single time. Okay, he's there.
All right.
I was gonna say it happens every time on this podcast. Something's always happening. It's okay though. So, I seen you at Fight Life in Rhode Island, and like it kind of seemed there that you were like a baby face. Is that like your character? Or are you kind of a heel?
So the Giant, realistically, he's always a baby face. He's always a baby face. Usually, if I'm fighting the bigger people, sorry, because it's more funny that the little guy is trying to stand up to the big guy. When I wrestle people my size, when I go on tour, for example, the Midget Wrestling Warriors, which I'm a part of, I'm usually the heel there, usually the bad guy, because I'm the Giant, I'm the big bully. So it kind of depends where I am, but usually I like to be the guy that they cheer for.
No, yeah. And so, do you find it like any complications being short in a
No,
nice
that's
way?
no, not really. That's more the fun part. I like to wrestle with different people, big, small, medium, large, oversized. I tell people I'm wrestling Brian Malonis again next Friday in Connecticut. So I've wrestled really large people. One of my biggest nemesis, Short Sleeve Samson, is 4'2". So I love wrestling anyone of different sizes, different styles, from lucha, Japanese, New England style wrestling, spot monkey wrestling, everything. I like everything. I don't like doing the same thing all the time.
Okay. So, what would with that being said, what would you say is like your favorite thing about wrestling? Like the moves or getting to know people?
I would say the greatest thing I like about wrestling is everything. Like there's things I love, there's things I hate. I just love the whole aspect of wrestling. You get to be someone else for a night. You get to be a character. You get to make people either hate you and see you get your ass kicked, or you see kids that when you're the nice guy that they want to cheer for you. You make an impression on them. You meet so many different people. Luckily, being wrestling since 2007, I've been able to travel almost around the world. I've been everywhere in the States, all of Canada because of it. So there's so much that I just love about wrestling. And when I get tired of it or annoyed, I just, I pull back a little bit so I don't lose that love. So I love everything about wrestling.
Oh yeah, that's great. So is there anything particular that like is a thorn in your side about wrestling?
Probably people that talk too much of a game, that have no game, or just they try to babyface. They babyface too hard when in reality they're a heel. And just they're too fake of a wrestler, too fake of a person, I should say.
Definitely. I mean, some people, their character is actually them in real life, and sometimes they're a completely different person. Like I'm Pennsylvania based. Like I just had what's his name, Anthony Stone, on the podcast I think 2 days ago, and like he was from Rhode Island as well. So obviously
Yep.
I'm Pennsylvania based, and there's a wrestler out here, his name is Rembrandt, and like he's the biggest jerk anyone will ever meet, but outside of like the wrestling, like he's so sweet. So definitely
You
it
get
depends
you
on the
get depends on the person, depends on the night. That's the
yeah,
biggest
I
thing
guess.
I would say.
So usually would ask if you have like a child and they're like, Dad, I want to do exactly what you're doing. Would you be like all for it and let them do it? Or would you be like, I know what the business is like?
So luckily don't have a child yet. Don't know if it's in the cards for me and my fiance. But if I had a child, if I had a child, I would show them what I do. They would see it, and if they wanted to do it, I would, you know, give them a heads up about some things, and I would make sure like it's something they want to do. But I don't think I would ever force my child, to do wrestling. He would know what it is for sure, and if he wanted to do it, I would support him. If they didn't want to do it, hey, by all means, that's fine. I feel like
Yeah.
forcing your child to do exactly what you do shouldn't work. If they want to do it, they'll want to do it.
No, definitely. So like you said you traveled a lot and you wrestled in like Canada and stuff. If like the opportunity came of wrestling in like WWE and AEW, which one do you think you would take?
I would take all of them. I've been to WWE on 2 different occasions. So I've been there. I know what it's like. For the most part, not everything now because that was a long time ago. I would take any opportunity I get. If it was WWE, if it was AEW, if it was Ring of Honor, even though Ring of Honor is technically AEW now. If it was Impact Wrestling, probably everywhere but New Japan. I think Japan scares me. But other than that, I mean, anywhere. I've wrestled luchador. So if there was AAA, I would go anywhere that there's an opportunity and someone gave me a chance, because that's what it's all about, is getting a chance, getting an opportunity. So wherever, people say wrestling's like ice cream. I love that there's so many flavors. I want to have all the flavors. So whatever flavor's there, that's what I'd want.
Except the Japan flavor.
Except the Japan flavor, yeah. Probably no Japan flavor.
No, definitely. So something about like us, if you ever wrestle in Pennsylvania in like the next weeks or months, me and my dad, like you'll hear us at a show and you'll be like, oh yeah, that's that girl. But obviously my dad, he's like my hype man. He's the wrestler's hype man, and he's in the comments, obviously chanting giant, because that's what he does. So you'll hear him if you come wrestle at a show. But back on topic, would you like? Do you have like a dream venue that you haven't got to wrestle in just yet, or you wrestled pretty much everywhere?
Well, dream venue would be like wrestling in TD Garden, or the Amity Center, whatever it is now, but the Dunkin' Donuts Center in Rhode Island, though, like, because that's home, that's here. That would be like the biggest like dream place to ever be, is in your hometown, your home stadium. I did have a dream. Being from Massachusetts, I'm a major Boston Red Sox fan. That's my team. That's my job. And several years ago, there was wrestling at Fenway Park. And I'm about to make my third appearance wrestling at Fenway Park. So technically, it's not a stadium, but it's the best place that I could ever have a show in, because that's that's my dream come true. But anything else, home, close to home would be
Definitely,
beautiful.
that's great. So, like, with that being said, has there ever been like one of those, obviously, but has there been a venue that you like wrestled at and you were like, I really like this one besides that one, and you like you'd wrestle there anytime again?
Um, there's a lot. I would say there you so we have Seven Feathers in Oregon that me and the Midget Wrestling Warriors go to practically every year. That's always my favorite venue to always go back to because it's always a full house. This year we wrestled in I forgot where I was. But I've been wrestling a few places here, but there's a lot of places I've been to, and I always want to go back. I feel like if you have to want to go back to one build the show, build the product, and it just makes the fans that go back again want to do it more. So any place I've wrestled before, I'd want to go back. That is a stadium.
No, definitely, yeah. So, is there anything specifically that you do before you come out the curtain?
I listen to music. I always put my headphones on and jam. Depending on the show, depending where I am, I'll blare music a lot. Um, I'll go. I'll always do a systems check before I go out there and make sure my shoes are tied, my head's on straight, and I'm functioning and know where I am. But it's probably just blaring music in my headphones prior to going out. So.
Okay, okay. So, do you think it's gonna be like an age thing or like a mindset thing that you retire from?
It's gonna be a mindset. Luckily, I've not had major injuries where I've broken anything. Had a few head knockers. That happens, but I've said that either one, my first real major injury that I have, or if it comes to the point where I don't love this anymore and I can't, I can't keep up because I don't have the drive to do it. Then that's when I'm gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna stop before I hate it too much or I get hurt even more severe than whatever could happen. Knock
Yeah.
on wood, I've been good so far.
Yeah, and so like after if it's a mindset thing, do you think you'll still be like involved somehow, whether it's like commentary or being a manager?
Oh, absolutely. But I'm sure I feel like I would need a battery reset before I jumped back into something like
No,
that
yeah,
for sure. So, but
definitely.
definitely managing would be cool. Commentating. For those that do know, Rob the Giant was WBL for the WLC. So commentating was something I did. So whoever knows, but I would want to do something. I would still want to be involved in wrestling if I still had a liking or loving for it, no matter what.
No, yeah, yeah. And so like up here in Pennsylvania, we have like a lot of intergender wrestling. How do you feel about that?
100% always for it. Always for. I always say the biggest selling, one of the biggest sellers besides muscle men is women and midgets. And I'm a short person, and I've trained with women. Even on, I've seen in New England we have a lot of good women wrestlers. For midget wrestling warriors, we have our midgets, and we also have our women, and they're all great athletes. There's a lot of them that I would love to have a match, a rivalry with. So 1,000% I'd be ready for it. For what mixing up women wrestling with men wrestling. I feel like we're in the age where equality is key, and for sure.
Exactly. And so you said you haven't had many injuries. So like if an opportunity came for like a hardcore match, would you be in it or would you be like, no, I'm okay?
So I've had four street fight, hardcore fight style matches, five maybe. They've always been with people that that we both were okay with, and we both made sure, hey, this is something I don't want to do, or hey, this is something I don't want to do. So as long as it's with the right people, the right atmosphere, it has to be worth it, the risk, but also too has to be where we're not killing each other, like we're not killing each other at all for
Mhm,
that part. Nothing doing stupid. Tables, chairs, ladders. I get it, but no blades, no thumbtacks, anything like that. I'm good.
okay, okay. So we kind of touched on it before. So my dad says, "What's your favorite style of wrestling?" And you said you're kind of open to doing like anything. Is there anything that you prefer doing more than others, like a style?
Just I don't even know if it's a style, but I just like doing basic American television style wrestling. I've wrestled with luchadors straight from Mexico, so I've had to do a lucha slash American style match. So I like to I like to gel everything together as we can. So
Okay, yeah, that's
kind of
cool.
yeah, little
So,
all the above.
yeah, pretty much. So you said you like work at a bunch of different shows. Like, what are some upcoming shows that you'll be working for?
So I will be this coming weekend. I will be at NRG in Fairhaven, Mass, wrestling Big Johnny Pierce. Saturday, I will be at a place called Renegade Wrestling Alliance (RWA) in Providence, Rhode Island, Johnston, Rhode Island. Sorry, right on the border. Can't say what I'm doing there because it's a surprise. And next weekend, I will be in Connecticut for PAPW Paradise Alley Pro, and my second time ever wrestling the Kingpin Brian Malonis, and hopefully he won't squash me again like he did last time because it hurt.
I bet. So, and if people just want to follow you and like follow you on your journey, where can they follow you at?
So they can follow me on my Twitter, which is Giant RAA, and they can follow me on my Instagram, which should be the Giant RA as well, or RA Wrestler. I'm really awful at social media tags. The Giant does have a Facebook page. I rarely run it. I just have my personal one on there. And just look up stuff on YouTube. You can probably find some decent quality stuff on there.
Definitely. So, obviously, thank you so much. We went through that quick, but it's okay. We got
Pretty
plenty
quick,
to
yeah.
do.
That was good though.
But we'll have to have you on again and have like more of a fluent conversation. And it's all good. And hopefully, I'll see you at another show soon. But thank you so much. And till next time, guys. Bye.
Awesome. Bye, guys. Thank you, Harley.
Of course.